Welcome, everybody. I have to start off today, and really, I don't have really much to add. I mean, it's all over the news at this point in time where you had Shinzo Abe. I mean, I've talked about him before on the program, the Abenomics, they called it. And, a lot of fiscal stimulus in Japan, a lot of the things that he did. He also did a lot to try to bring Japan more into the fold internationally, spending more money on their military. He was assassinated by, again, it's getting some of the details here. I guess some person has been disgruntled with him for an extended period of time. I was curious trying to find out. I said, this is odd. Japan basically very, very little violence in that country, especially gun violence. Just doesn't happen. And as it turns out, I think it was a homemade weapon that was used to kill him. Again, I'm sure more details come out. Doesn't say exactly why this person was disgruntled or upset. He was a former member of, I think, one of the branches of the Japanese Navy. That's the information I have right now. But other than that, it's going to be all over the news, and I really don't have that much to add, except that, again, god-awful tragedy that we continue to be hit with on a regular basis. I'm going to go off the beaten track right now. We talk about violence on a regular basis. I was going to save this story for last, actually. But I'm going to, talking about what happened with Shinzo Abe. There was an act of violence in New York. And well, surprise, surprise. So, guy, I don't know if you heard about this guy running. Oh, actually, I don't think he owned it. He was just a worker. If you're not familiar with New York, bodega, run a bodega. It's like a little convenience store. They're all over Manhattan. They're all over New York City. Little convenience stores here, there, and everywhere. And this guy that was working there, and some man was upset because he wouldn't allow his girlfriend to buy stuff because her credit card or debit card got denied several times. Came in, went behind the counter, and went after the bodega worker. The bodega worker turned around, decided to defend himself, and stabbed this man that came behind the counter and attacked him. As it turns out, the bodega owner was arrested and charged with murder, was sent to Rikers Island on a $250,000 bail. $250,000 bail. Again, the bail has been reduced. Bail's been reduced. I think it's down 50, and he's out now. So he had to put up a bond of $5,000. He's going to have to wear an ankle bracelet. I fail to understand why people like this are not awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, for crying out loud. I mean, being a little bit absurd right there, but they should be honored. They should be honored. What the hell type of country do we live in when you can't stand your ground and defend yourself from people who wish to do you harm? I just another thing. I had this conversation. I have friends that own hospitality businesses in the city, and Chris, when are we going to see you come in again? I said, all due respect, guys. I love you. I'm not going in there. I'm not going into that place. I'm not. All of my all my stuff's down in Florida, and I could carry it legally there. I'm not going into the city, and it's not just because of that. Quite frankly, and I was honest because these are friends of mine. Guys, you can be honest with them. I don't feel like spending any money there. I don't feel like having my sales tax going to a city that is so awful at this point in time. How could you do that? How can you charge a man with murder who is there defending himself from someone that was attacking him? Hey, people, I'm just telling you. At some point, you love these boycotts. You got to boycott these liberal areas of the country. You do. Again, like, Markowski, you live in New York. Yeah, I live in an enclave that's nothing like that. And trust me, I scream and yell. And if you've been listening to this podcast on a regular basis and how my tax dollars are wasted and what a joke it is here at this place, again, it's a mental disorder. Anyway, I was going to save that story for last, but again, decided to just throw my 2 cents in there. But just getting to the economy, 8:30, we have jobs report today. We'll see. I think you're going to have a weakened number. There's a lot of talk right now. And again, you take a look. You can take a look at a myriad of different commodities, and they've just fallen off. One of the cures for inflation, for high prices, is exactly that. It's high prices. Meaning, guess what? That's too expensive. I'm not going to buy that. Hey, I mentioned that yesterday. We're talking about this yesterday, the day before. We're talking about the average car payment now over $700 a month, where I might have in the past gone out and said, you know what, I'm going to turn in my leased car and get another one. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to buy the thing out. Just going to buy it out. Again, high prices. No, not going to do it. Not going to buy it. So again, this is the reality of what's taken place. You're seeing people pull back. We're seeing companies start to say, hey, wait a second here. We're not going to be able to grow like this before. Money is not coming by so easily, and we're gonna be a little bit more cautious with what we're doing. And again, I've explained this to you. This is a good time for you to do this at your business. Good time for you to do it within your household. It makes sense. Now, weakening jobs number. Let's say if it comes in much weaker. That could throw off a couple things. You could have people saying, "Oh, that means we're going into a recession," and it might spook people. If it comes in too strong, they're going to say, "Guess what? Inflation is not being tamed." I do have a feeling where you're going to see, bad news. In essence, a weaker jobs number is going to be good news for the overall markets. We're back in that period of time. However, again, you start looking at many of these commodities, many of these if you start to see any sort of, they call it peak inflation, and it start to retrench, again, it could be risk on all over again. But also, don't forget, we've got earnings coming up. And a lot is already baked into the cake with many of these companies. You take a look at, especially the NASDAQ, take a look at, companies within the NASDAQ, and many of them are just way off their highs. So a lot of it is already priced in. So we'll see what happens. Ken, people, you talk about drilling. We've got this Gulf of Mexico, right near us, right? And there's a lot of oil there, and we're not going out and getting it. But guess what? Shell's European. They're investing billions of dollars in the Gulf, even as the Biden administration is, I don't know. Maybe we'll do something. I don't know. We'll look into it. We'll hold a review. We'll put together a commission. Remember that with this was back when Barack Obama with the Keystone XL pipeline. John Kerry, we had the Secretary of State involved, and they're holding things up and making things go at a snail's pace. Not good for the overall economy. Political uncertainty from the Wall Street Journal today. Political uncertainty is clouding prospects for new drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. Shell, the Gulf's biggest producer, is still investing billions of dollars in its waters to pump oil for years to come. Shell's continued ambitions in the Gulf are on full display in a sprawling fabrication yard in Southeast Texas. There, the company's putting the finishing touches on Vito, its 13th major offshore project in the region, with a cost of around $3 billion. You got to put that into perspective. So talk about those types of capital expenditures. It's a lot of money. That companies are going out, and they're great risks spending money to go out and get energy. If you make it, not conducive for them to make those investments, they're not going to. Why would they? There's added risk. Yeah, this is, we always talk about Econ 101. We talk about supply and demand and all the idiots in Washington and here, there, and everywhere. But there's another thing that many people fail to understand: risk reward. Risk reward. I mean, you're going to want to go out and invest in something and do something, and you're going to spend money, and you're going to put effort into it, and you're going to put time into it. You're doing it for a reason, right? You're doing it so you can get a certain return. I remember, it's funny. This is during the Obama administration, and this great recession happening, and there were some opportunities that I was looking at for other businesses that I wanted to get involved with. It's back when I was living in Southwest Florida, and I was looking at getting a spot right near the hospital for a kind of like a breakfast lunch place for all of the doctors, maybe do a little bit of dinner. And I just get a couple ideas here, and I start looking into, at the time, all of the hoops that I'd have to jump through and all the government crap that I'd have to deal with to actually put this together. And I said, nah, because that was a part of the equation. There was a cost involved with just dealing with regulations and BS. And I said to myself, is it worth it? Is it worth my time? Is it worth my effort? Is it worth my money? That works on an individual basis, but it's the same thing for a corporation, at least a smart corporation. Is it worth their time, energy, and money? And again, you get the government involved and you make it so it's too difficult. People say, you know what? Forget it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to bother. What's the point? Why am I going to deal with this nonsense? I've been dealing with this. We've got my clients that are physicians all over the country. And let me tell you something, the hoops and the things that they have to do, that they have to go through, a lot of them want out. Let me put it this way. I've got my son is right now, he's a biology major, and he's doing his pre-med stuff. I've people telling me, don't have him do it. Don't do it. Think about that for a second. And a profession that should be as rewarding as helping people with their health, whatever it may be. My son, at this point, I want to get involved in orthopedics and orthopedic surgery because he's an athlete. He wants to help athletes. It's all well and good. But, you got people in that field saying, you have no idea what we have to deal with at this point in time. Again, risk reward. Am I going to spend all of this money to go to medical school and do all of these things? Is it really worth it? Yeah, it's similar thing. Clients, pilots. Speaking with a pilot, major airline, and I'm asking them, because again, I go on the ground. You ask questions. You ask questions to the workers at the companies. Ask questions to the pilots. What's going on? Why are all these shortages? It's like, well, when they cut everybody's salaries down, and they cut them in half and sometimes even more, people recognize that it was the amount of training that you had to do and the amount of money it cost to become a pilot. It wasn't worth it. So they couldn't get people to do it. Again, risk reward. Okay. Bailout. We got another one here. This is bad precedent. It really is. It's not getting, not many people are talking about it. And I'm going to be honest with you. The elephants are out to lunch. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know if their strategy, they got a phone call. They just said, just don't do anything. Don't do anything. Let the donkeys continue to screw crap up. I don't like leaders like that. I want people out at the forefront. I want people leading. I want ideas. We've got issues we've got to deal with. And Biden's in Ohio, and now he's talking about this. It was part of the American rescue plan. Another $90 billion. Okay, this is your money. He just sent $48 billion to the Ukraine, and I'm sorry, it's a losing effort. This is $90 billion to the Pension Guarantee Corporation to shore up private pensions. So, we have a retirement plan at Markowski Investments. Tell you something, it's not going to need a bailout. Let's just leave it at that. Not going to need a bailout. But again, here we go. We got all these companies out there that obviously didn't handle their pensions properly, didn't put enough money into those pensions, promised their workers too much. And now we've basically said to pensions all over the country, screw it. You're going to get bailed out by the taxpayer. This sucks. I'm sorry. It does. I know. I'm going to get, oh, yeah, but workers are going to be left out. They were counting on these pensions, all of this stuff. For crying out loud, I warned everybody about this. I warned everybody that this was coming down the pike. When you have ultra low interest rates for an extended period of time, pensions have to have a certain portion of their portfolios in cash and cash equivalents because they have to pay out on a regular basis. When that portion of the portfolio is obviously getting no return, or in essence, a less than zero rate of return, it makes things more difficult. So guess what? You're going to have to do other things in that portfolio or contribute more to that portfolio to make up. It is what it is. It's the terrain. You have to deal with this. How many years have I been talking about this? And telling people, I want to retire at 62. But these are people, what do you want out of pension? I'm like, really? Really? In case you haven't checked, your CDs, your 6-month CDs are not getting 6-7%, my friend. Doesn't work that way. Again, it is what it is. It's the terrain. So now what we're saying is the taxpayers now got to bail out all of these private pensions. What is the what's the incentive for these companies that have these pensions, these private pensions, to actually go to their workers and say, hey, listen, these numbers are just not adding up. If you want these types of benefits, you're going to have to start contributing more, and we're going to have to start contributing more. Is there any incentive for that now? No. It's on the taxpayer. On the taxpayer. Again, I'm sorry. It's wrong. It's wrong. Wall Street Journal, big cities can't get workers back to the office. You don't say. You don't say. Listen, I told you so moment. Yeah, really? Do you really think people after working at home and making money at home and doing their job, do you really think that they're going to want to get back on the frickin' train and then get on a subway that stinks? It's a disgusting subway system. It's embarrassment. It really is. It's we should be embarrassed by the types of conditions. Oh, I know. They got a Grand Central Station, beautiful outside of when you go underneath. I guess I haven't been to it. The new Penn Station part is supposed to be very nice. You've got the station down near the Freedom Tower. Oh yeah, that's nice, beautiful, great. But the subway's constant violence taking place. Plus, not to mention the time. You're gonna blow 3-4 hours a day. 3-4 hours a day. And just put it into perspective, people not aware. I live 30 miles straight shot. I'm a 30 mile straight shot out of the city, maybe a little bit more. If I had my commute back when I did, and I wouldn't do it again. No, nobody again. Television appearances, come in studio, nah, not happening. Drive to the train station. All right, there's 15 minutes there. Wait for the train. Get on train. Hour and 5-10 minutes, depending. Then you got to get on a subway, depending on where you're going to go, another half an hour maybe there, depending what the wait time is, maybe 45 minutes. Do a television hit that lasts about 5 minutes, if that. Turn around and go home. Yeah, I used to do that stupid crap. I started thinking about it, and I said, well, what an idiot. Ring light, camera. Works just fine. Works just fine. Anyway, yeah, you're going to have a difficult time. Difficult time getting people back in the office. It's funny, you get a lot of businesses and actual buildings trying to incentivize people to come back by having massage days and spa days and all of this stuff. Many of the buildings in Manhattan, quite frankly, just old. They're very, very old. And there's certain buildings, some of the brand new ones, some of the companies that have remained in the city have gravitated to them based upon the floor plans and the technology. Dated. Let's just leave it at that. Dated is the word. And it's just, it ain't happening. And you're not going to get those businesses back. In fact, more and more of them are up and leaving. This was a trend before COVID, and it's just, been put on steroids. Really has. Anyway, get a kick out of this. This is, again, you can't make this stuff up. This is Babylon Bee worthy. Electric police cars are struggling to reach crime scenes and emergencies without running out of power. Officers in rural areas cannot find charging points on patrol and are having to switch to petrol or diesel vehicles. This is out of the UK. Yes, they got 66 Nissan Leafs and 9 Nissan NV200 vans in February 2020. This is Gloucestershire. Lots of problems. People driving around electric vehicles trying to find recharging facilities, running out and then having to get another vehicle. Although I fully understand and support climate controls, my first priority is to fight crime. What's next? You guys gotta have like a carbon neutral firearm or something like that you're gonna have the police officers utilize? I mean, are you kidding me? You didn't see this coming, for crying out loud? Amazing. Anyway, the environmental lobby in Europe is up in arms. That's right. Led by that kid, Greta. Led by the angry kid, Greta. Because the EU lawmakers have backed gas and nuclear energy as sustainable. Now, you can't compromise with whack jobs. Can't. You cannot. It's just not. And it's unfortunate. We could get somewhere. You could make progress if you compromise. You're not going to power. You're not going to power Europe with windmills and solar. Do you realize? Okay, and again, this is to some of you people that are true believers out there. Yeah, it's like a religion. It's true, but it's like crypto and NFT. It's like believe in this shit with religious fervor. You've got right now about little over 2% of global energy being supplied by renewables. Little over 2%. Do you know how much money has been spent just to get to that point? Trillions of dollars have been spent, and you've just gotten up to a little over 2% of global energy being supplied by renewables. I say this all the time. If it was so freaking awesome, okay, if it was so great, so, why? I mean, you go to places like go to the Sahara Desert. Go to Sahara, all these open spaces. Nobody lives there. Miles and miles away from civilization. Why don't you just put up solar panels everywhere? Oh, well, the reason is you got to They got to go on a line to somewhere, and then you have to put them in batteries, and wasn't going to work. I remember talking about this with a scientist. This was years ago. It was probably, I just had to be George W. Bush was president. Energy problems and talking about solar and just the limitations. And again, I don't have any problem with it in a certain capacity. Never did. I had a solar calculator, decades and decades ago, back when I was in school. Yeah, it works great there. Right, you want to have some, outdoor lights, whatever. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do, but compromise. How can you not say that nuclear cannot be a part of solving your problem? Why do you automatically cross things off your list without thinking? Again, listen, I'll what this? I'm with you, okay? Even though I'm a big time skeptic of the entire BS, okay? I'll say, you know what? We'll try to go to that carbon neutral, whatever it may be, place you're trying to get to. But let's figure out an intelligent way of getting there. Let's just not, throw crap on the wall and hope it's going to stick. Okay. Again, we deal with the train. We deal with reality here on the program. With Russia's military action in Ukraine in its 5th month, Vladimir Putin on Thursday warned Kiev that it should quickly accept Moscow's terms or brace for the worst, adding ominously that Russia has barely started its action. Speaking at a meeting with leaders of the Kremlin-controlled parliament, Putin accused Western allies of fueling the hostilities, charging that the West wants to fight us until the last Ukrainian. It's tragedy for the Ukrainian people, but it looks like it's heading in that direction. Everybody should know that, largely speaking, we haven't even yet started anything in earnest. He declared that Russia remains ready to sit down for talks to end the fighting, adding that those who refuse to do so should know that the longer it lasts, the more difficult it will be for them to make a deal with us. We are hearing that they want to defeat us on the battlefield. Let them try. They're not going to. Okay? Sorry. I know I'm going to get all the people that think that it's possible, think that this is frickin' 300 at Thermopylae. It's not happening. Okay? Despite the size of the Persians, and by the way, the Greeks got defeated. Well, even though they had a guy that basically, it's a long story. Anyway, you know it. They lost eventually. Grandstand finance, but they lost there. They ended up winning the war later on. Completely different thing. Sea battle. Again, I love all that stuff. But the reality is the Persians didn't have nuclear weapons. The Persians didn't have nuclear weapons, not to mention the fact that at the time, the surrounding territories in Greece and let's say were not reliant upon Persia for food, for energy. You know that right now, I'm not making this up. You think go look it up yourself. Go see what's going on in Germany right now. They're already starting to ration. Oh, yeah. Yeah, shutting down swimming pools, doing all sorts of things. How long do you think that's going to fly? How long do you think that is going to fly? How long do you think the German people are going to say, hey, a second, we're going to shut down industries. We can't go swimming. Our air conditioners have to be shut off. How long? You think they're going to buy into Joe Biden's liberal world order BS? I don't think so. I don't think. You do understand that the former prime minister of Germany, Gerhard Schroeder, is best buddies with Putin. They're BFFs. He's one of the top executives at Gazprom. He is. He is. So again, you you keep listening to your news stations here. You keep watching these generals that they parade on Fox and all their BS. I just send Ukraine more weapons. No, I mean, honestly, people. Okay. Again, this whole thing was determined ahead of time. Okay. Ukraine's not going to. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. Okay. This is why you have to come up with something. You have to come up with something. You're going to have to agree to something because it's just you're just going to continue to destroy this people and their life. You tell me how. We sent over, it's big news, right? Oh, four big rocket launchers we sent over to Ukraine, longer range missiles, long range. Two of them been destroyed already. Russia's taken out two of them already. Just got sent. I mean, it's great if they're in the defense contractor business because hey, you lost those two rocket. Hey, we're gonna have to build you a new one. Here you go. Another more money. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to be going to Europe shortly, and kind of psyched. I haven't seen these numbers in decades, and I'm talking about the dollar euro. It's basically at parity at this point in time. Basically at parity. Again, I go way back. I miss the days of the lira in Italy and the drachma in Greece. And I mean, you could go there and you could go shopping in Italy and you could get stuff at the price. It was awesome. Awesome. But anyway, neither here nor there. The last time I was actually in Italy, which was, geez, my God, I've been there 5, 6 years, 7 years. It was $1.35, almost $1.40. It was just, it was 2016. Yeah, 2016. $1.30, $1.40 was the conversion rate. You got killed on that. Not so much anymore. And asking how low can the euro go? It looks like it's going lower. I mean, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. I mean, look at what's going on there. I mean, how is this whole energy thing going to work out? I mean, they have problems over there. That's why people start talking about, world's reserve currency and China trying to work with a couple other countries to kind of come up with something else. To be honest, the dollar is the only game in town. I mean, there was a point in time where people were really kind of concerned about America and our staying power, our fiscal situation. That was it was kind of in the height of just our flailing around in the Middle East and the type of money that we were spending there. It actually showed up. I remember making this comment. It started showing up in pop culture. You started having rappers in their videos flashing euros. And I remember they actually did it in one of the James Bond films. There was with Daniel Craig. It was the second one in his series, Quantum of Solace. And I remember one of the bad guys wanting to get paid off, not in dollars, in euros. And they made a side comment like, it's the cost of expensive wars. Well, yeah, the euro is going to go a hell of a lot lower. And again, I think this liberal world order that Biden speaks of, not going to last. You think the European people are going to want to freeze this winter? They're not. And again, I mentioned this yesterday here on the show. I talked about it yesterday as well in the Money Minutes. And people are like, well, we're shipping our oil and sending it here, sending it there. People, I wish we were sending more. Okay. I wish we were, because I wish we were producing more so we could send more and sell and be that guy, be that, that energy country of last resort. We're not there yet, but the reality is people are like, oh, high prices here. How could we do that? Again, we can't refine anymore. You understand? The oil that is being shipped, we can't, that's almost, the Gulf oil refinery, they're almost running at 100%. And that's not good. That's not safe. It's not. So you can ship all the oil you want there. You can't get it through the system any faster. Anyway, holy moly, look at the time. You know what? We'll call it a day. We'll call it a week. Aside from my radio show, and that's the big show this weekend. Make sure you tune into that. Watchdog on wallstreet.com. Watchdog on wallstreet.com. We'll see you.